who's performing on the stages? Where are they seeing the advertisements for the shows? Are we reaching broadly across the community? All of it, it's all connected.
And I think our reach is so vast, even with GSA and thinking about, all the different counties, 120 counties that we have in Kentucky, and how GSA is working to make sure that everyone's included. GSA is our Governor's School for the Arts, our premier kind of educational piece for rising juniors and seniors. They come from all over, and we want to make sure that, the students who are in the more rural areas or counties, that they know about us. Also to feel like that this is for them as well. Completely free for the students. It's an intense program, but they get so much out of it, and once they get done, they just light up.
They do.
They really do.
And what I love about it is everyone leaves that program and they're like, I am an artist. What's really key in my position is to make sure that I am staying connected with what's happening within the industry, and really not only kind of what's happening in our community, but what are the exciting things happening in our world that we can bring here to Louisville.
Recently I had a chance to go to New York about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I met with the Broadway League, which works closely with our partner with PNC Broadway Across America, and it was just really eye-opening just what other DEI people are in the performing arts space in a role similar to what mine might be. And so connecting with those folks so we can share ideas and share what works and what's not working, and what are some other performing arts organizations doing related to DEI that might be good for us, or that might be good for me to just think about. How can we just be stewards of our spaces and our resources, and make sure that we are accessible for people who might not have ever dreamed that one day they can be on the Kentucky Center stage.
One of the most challenging parts of being a leader of an organization like ours is trying to balance that creativity side of things with, how you actually run the organization and make it work. We couldn't do it without wonderful corporate support from, the Commonwealth, support from individuals, and it just takes all of that, because a ticket, unless it's Taylor Swift, one ticket will not cover the cost of putting shows on. So it's a really interesting business and a really dynamic business, and that's what I love, is that we can always figure out how to get where we need to be.
As a leader, I know there are sometimes you've had to make difficult, decisions, and we've got a whole team, that supports and backs you. One of the things that I also think is important as a leader, you're not making decisions in a vacuum. Whenever possible, you allow your team to be a part of those conversations and those decisions.
I'm so glad you see that, and it's because the team is so incredible. And I mean, honestly, we couldn't do what we do if we didn't have such dynamic leaders throughout.
Yeah.
It's really been one of the biggest challenges prior to COVID, but coming out of COVID, I really feel like people are much more in tune with the importance of work-life balance. Yeah. And I love how we are being flexible now, because if you're working all weekend for shows and you're there in the evenings, you have to have time to care for yourself, you have to have time to care for your family. And so I think just providing that environment of trust and of flexibility within our managers to work with their teams has been a total game changer. I will say, listening to our employees, trying to do things like, if we know that there's no shows, then we are going to say, okay, we're going to have a day where, unless it's Elvis coming back from the grave, we're not going to do an event, and just giving everyone some downtime. I think strategies like that really help. And then I just think laughter, letting everybody feel like they're coming to work and they're being themselves. And, you can just relax and have fun and really have just a great relationships with the people that you work with.
We have a running joke. We talk about, is KPA a place of joy? And what does joy mean to everyone? Instead of just creating that and coming up with whatever we think that employees will want to have a work-life balance. We've asked them, and they've let us know, and they've told us what they want, and some of those things we can do, and some of those things we have to put in our plan to think about. I personally, when I tell people I work for Kentucky Performing Arts, the first thing they say is, "Oh, that's got to be so fun," and I'm like, "It is. I have enjoyed my time. It is fun." Because you get to see all the moving parts and some of the things that you just happen upon, like, if the Lion King is there, you happen upon, somebody walking around in a costume. And Tina, this morning we had a meeting and we heard them rehearsing, and I'm like, this is like Tina. This is the songs that my mom played, and I get to listen to them while I'm having a meeting about benefits. Like, who does that? And so it's really just about like the work environment, being supportive, and I think wellness means something different to everyone, and I think we do a good job of trying to make sure that we can kind of meet those needs for all people.
We bring artists into community, whether it's in a school, if an artist are coming here, like with Dance Theater of Harlem, when they came here, to bring those artists to different schools to really work and connect with young people. I think that interaction outside of what's on the stage is so important and so critical.
I would agree. I think the outreach piece is important. We can't expect everyone to just come to us. And so really thinking about how can we implant ourselves into the community so that people have an opportunity to not only see themselves represented, but take part in the arts. You might not be able to come to the show, but the artist can come to you.
I also love cultural celebrations and how we connect with others in the community that are also doing cultural celebrations. I think that's going to be something to keep your eye out on, for when you're looking at KPA a year from now.
I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes you don't think about the work that you're doing. It's rounding out the end of the year, so we're thinking ahead to January and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday and our Keepers of the Dream event. Thinking about, like, what else can we do? What can we do for Black History Month? What can we do for Asian American Pacific Islander Month? What can we do for Women's History Month? Like, there's so many different cultures represented within our community. How can we make sure that we recognize and celebrate that? Because that's, a huge part of GEI work is feeling like you belong. And if you are not only recognized but celebrated, that is one of the ways to be celebrated and to feel like somebody is recognizing me in whatever unique way that might be. So thanks for bringing that up.
I think the best part about the center is that it's a nonprofit cultural organization. So we really are driven by more than the almighty dollar. There are shows that come in and they sell out, and that's great. But for us, it's really important for us to bring things that'll enrich our community. We have so many spaces and so many opportunities to support all different kinds of work. That is, to me, what makes it so interesting and so vibrant.
And when you think about a nonprofit, the focus is on the community. So you're thinking about, how can I enrich my community? And so we do that with our performances and the connections that we make, and just the diversity of what we bring to the stage and who is on our stages and what that looks like for folks who are coming in to actually see a performance or to perform. So the focus is on community, and I think that that's where we are grounded in integrity, because we're not thinking of self, we're thinking of community.